Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Heavy Water 77. I am Jerry, your humble host, and I am joined by the talent of the show. Very, 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 very lucky to have this guy as a co-host. Joseph, man, how you doing?
Doing good. Back for another episode. We're talking about an album most people probably haven't ever heard of this week.
No. Yep. Yeah. But what he's talking about is this seldom listened to album right here. All right. I mean, do we're going to be talking about the songs and about the album. I'm sure you probably know everything about this album, if even if you're a novice Styx fan. This is definitely their magnum opus, in my opinion. Some people might say their next album is, which they're not wrong. Maybe we got an A and a B, like a 1A and a 1B
Hmm.
situation here, but in my opinion, anyway, this is the pinnacle album from the band, you know, in my humble opinion. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. I mean, I knew the next album earlier than I knew this album. This was the first album I ever owned from Styx on vinyl. But I knew Pieces of Eight first. But to this day, this is still my favorite. This is the big one for me. Um, to the point where by the time this episode comes out, I will have seen the band perform this entire album live this
Lucky you.
Friday in concert. So I'm very excited for that. This has been a very important album to me in my life, and we'll get into that as we get into the album.
You won't beat me then, because the only song I have never heard them play live on this album is Castle Walls. So,
Nice.
and of course the grand finale. But yeah, man, what a history I have with this album as a kid. Um, this used to be, I don't know if you remember the old days where the news used to do the weather and they showed the city, the temperature is going up and the what do
Hmm.
you call that? Being whatever that's fucking called. But they always had fooling yourself. That
Oh,
dun 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 playing in the background when news outlets did that, which was really cool. I remember I owned, I think I was like 11 or 12 or 13. I can't remember. I wasn't in high school yet. I know that. I had High and Dry by Def Leppard, which was immensely popular because of, it was around Pyromania came out around that time. And my sister had the Grand Illusion on cassette, and I traded her with it, traded her my High and Dry for her Grand Illusion. Everybody was like, dude, what are you doing, man? What a bad mistake. What a stupid move. I'm like, dude, I love this album. I mean, I wore that tape out. I remember that summer we lived on a houseboat, in Cincinnati, on the blue, beautifully clean water of the Ohio River. Um, and they had, how they have, built-in stereo systems. I remember just playing that cassette all the time, man, just learning and loving every song. There's a song on here which means it means more to me today than it did back then. It's just an incredibly written tune. We'll get to that when we get to that song. But one thing I want to start out with, if you guys can bear with me a moment here, is I want to talk about this book right here. It's written by Chuck Panozzo, The Grand Illusion. I mean, we've heard Tommy's side, we've heard JY's side, we heard Dennis's side about how the band started, how that, their time with it, how some members are here, some aren't. But this is a kind of a unique perspective, I think. I'm not going to get into you know, the lifestyles. I don't care what you do with your lifestyle, but kind of, it was kind of hard for him to go through what his lifestyle back in the 70s and 80s because it was really taboo back then. And it almost it really destroyed his mental health. And I recommend this book highly. It's a really really good read. I read it like 3 or 4 years ago. I just started reading it again and picked this one up. It's a very well written book. So did I mention it was Chuck Panassa, right? Okay,
yes.
just want to make sure about that. But with that being said, let's get started on this album here. So we'll start out with opening track
Nope.
written by Dennis, The
We didn't do the
Grand
background
Illusion.
yet.
Oh, background, excuse me. I fucked up. My first fuck up of the day. Go ahead, Joseph. Tell us about this.
So, The Grand Illusion from Styx, right here, is the band's seventh album, and because they are a superstitious bunch, released the album on July 7th, 1977. Their seventh album on 7/7/77. Um, Once again, as the past few albums had been, recorded at the Paragon of Chicago, produced by the band with production assistance and engineering from Barry Mraz to kind of keep in the same kind of production that they had been on the last few albums. It's a loose concept album about their experience as an American rock band. As we go through each of the songs, I'll kind of talk about um, what each of the songs is about, the kind of background on the recording. Really interestingly, pretty much every album we've discussed so far, we have some big convoluted backstory on like what is behind the album, backstory during the recording, different stories going on. Surprisingly, not a lot of backstory on this album, but there's a ton of backstory on each of the individual songs, which is pretty new. We have not had a lot of backstory of the individual songs themselves yet. So this is going to be a kind of cool episode to talk about that. But there's not a lot of backstory for the album itself. But we do know that after years of toil, this was finally the album that broke the band. They got immensely popular off the back of this album, went to number 6 on the Billboard charts, ended as the number 7 album on the year-end charts of 1978. So actually, that shows you right there how long it took this album to gain traction. Came out in July of 1977, peaked at number 6 late in the year, stayed on the charts throughout most of 1978, ended up as in the top 10 albums of that year. So kind of took a little while to gain traction, ended up being certified 3 times platinum for sales of over 3 million in the US alone. It's kind of speculated that it's around 6 million worldwide. And that, just for anyone who is not aware of the inner workings of the music business, today you can sell an album, you can put out an album that sells about 50,000 copies and it can go number 1 on the Billboard
True.
charts.
Yeah.
Back then, an album that sold 3 million was number 6. So anyone who doesn't quite understand how far downhill the music business has gone, that's a
True.
pretty great example right there. That you sell an album that sells over 3 million copies didn't even crack the top 5, and I can only imagine what was in the top 5 when this album came out. So, immensely popular album. 2 top 40 singles off this album that we'll get to here in a little bit. One being a top 10 single, their first, I believe, or second after Lady.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
Lady hit
I
the
think
top
Lady
10.
was top 10. But it was their first since Lady to make the top 10. We'll talk about that when we get to that song. But funnily enough, there's at least 4 songs on this album that have regular play on classic rock radio, but only 2 of them were actually released as singles, which I
Right.
find pretty interesting. So that's honestly about all the background that we have on this album until we get into the individual songs themselves. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Jerry, or
Yeah.
hop right in?
Sometimes I like going on eBay and stuff like that to view prices, what they're going for. This album is immensely cheap. Buy it. Physical media. I know it's used and the band don't get much, but get it and put it in your catalog, man. I mean, I see this for 13 or 14 bucks used in great condition on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a
and,
vinyl fan
and
and
probably even cheaper than that in your local record store.
true. And if you're a vinyl fan, don't have this one. And if you're lucky enough, you can get one with the poster. I unfortunately, when I bought this, it was used at a record convention, did not have the poster. But oh well, what can you do? So anyway, there's a couple ratings I like to talk about. All Music gives this one 4.5 stars, which is really good. And of course, the dreaded Rolling Stone gives it only a 2.25 star, which for Rolling Stone, you know what? I'm happy with that. That's actually good for Rolling Stone. I mean, just the fact that they give this album 2.5 stars or 2.25 stars, I'll take it. Thank you, Rolling Stone. Even though you're fucking stoned, you're Rolling Stoned with that review. But all right, well, enough of the malarkey or bullshit. That's a different story, different podcast. I do. Let's get on with this song. We'll start out with the title track, "The Grand Illusion," written by Dennis DeYoung. It's a song about being mistaken how things are in the celebrity world. So, what do you think about this song, dude?
Yeah, I mean, what a way to kick off the album. Immediately one of the more recognizable songs on the album. This is one of the ones that I was talking about, was never actually released as a single, but is played very often on classic rock radio to this day. One of the big songs off the album, pretty much consistently in the set list. This song is one of those that never really leaves the set list, no matter what tour they're on. And I think it sounds great live. I adore this song. I think it's one of my favorite songs on the album. I will say, Jerry and I have talked about this before. I am not a fan of the way that they did this live with Dennis DeYoung. I prefer the way they do it now live with Lawrence Gowan, where it sounds more like the studio version. Um, I'm really not a fan of the way Dennis would elongate and they did the between all the parts at the beginning. I want to hear it the way it is on the album, and I think they do a great job with that now live. I think this is easily one of my favorite tracks to see live because of how great Todd Sucherman's drumming is on it. I think this is a
Oh,
standout for him on drums.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but easily one of my favorite songs on the album. You're going to hear that a lot over the next couple minutes, folks. Yeah, great song, great way to open up this album.
Yeah, Dennis wrote this song, as I said, about, the illusions of fame, like you're rich. And well, some people do reach that point, but when this song was written, they haven't reached that pinnacle yet. So you can't say, oh, just a millionaire talking about how bad things, blah, 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 blah. They weren't rich at this time. So, I get what he was writing about in this song. But you're right. It's a great fucking opening track. I mean, they don't open with it. They do open with it a lot, but sometimes I've noticed lately they'll start with a newer song maybe and then go into the Grand Illusion for the second song. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've seen them do it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. The past few tours, like I think starting last year or the year before, either way, um, they started using it as an opening track, and then of course this year with them playing the whole album, they used it as the opening track. But I every other time I've seen them live, they opened with something off the newest album at the time.
yeah. But yeah, it's usually somewhere in the beginning of their set list. God, I love the structure of this song. I love how it starts, thunderous and loud, and then it's got this really soft chorus. If you think you're, I mean, it's just really cool structured song. And the ending part, America spells confident. And you're right about Todd. During that part, he is just ripping the fucking drums, dude, just nailing it. It's a great lead off song on the album, man. I mean, as a Styx fan, and you guys as a Styx fan don't need us to tell you about how great this song is, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. It's a great fucking song. All right, then we move into Tommy's first song, "Fooling Yourself," the angry young man. What do you got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, possibly Tommy's most iconic song. When you think of Tommy Shaw songs and Styx, I mean, there's three that really come to mind pretty forwardly. It's Crystal Ball, this song, and Too Much Time on My Hands, in my opinion. And then, of course, the two singles off the next album, which we'll talk about
Yeah,
next episode. But I really think this is an iconic Tommy song. Until I researched for this episode, I didn't realize um, that Tommy actually wrote this song about Dennis.
yes,
I did not
he's an
realize
angry
that.
young. His initial
Yep,
reception
that
of him,
was
he
his
thought he
first.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was his first impression of Dennis DeYoung. That he would always any setback the band have he would take to heart, get really frustrated with it. Um, and of course, I mean everything we've talked about in the last few weeks, we can see some of those setbacks with the record company, and then with John Serlewski, and then hey, we put out these two albums on A&M that was supposed to make us big, and then what happened? Nothing.
right.
Um, you can understand where Tommy's coming from with that perspective that Dennis was taking a lot of that to heart. And then Tommy said it wasn't until later in his own life that he started to see himself
Right.
in this song that like we all were kind of that way, that we all expected instant fame and fortune and then didn't necessarily we weren't ready for all the hardship that we'd have to endure to get there. And
Mhm.
so kind of talking about that cynical perspective that they might have had at the time. And I think it's a really great song. I mean, the acoustic work is iconic. The intro with the acoustic and the synthesizer, and then Chuck's bass line, the boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's like his starring moment during the live shows is when he steps out to the front of the stage and does that. Two little notes, but I mean, pretty iconic. But
And that's
yeah,
in the book. That's in Chuck's book, actually, why
mm-hmm.
he prefers that song. So I'm not going to tell
Yeah,
you. Buy the book.
there you go. Gotta buy the book to find out. But
Right.
yeah, this is just another great song. Keep the momentum going for the album. Two for two so far.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of ironic that Tommy wrote this song about, I don't know, ironic or intentional that Tommy wrote this song about Dennis. And what does Dennis say in this song? Relax. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
I don't know if that was purposely put in there, but maybe it was. I don't. But anyway, when Tommy Shaw has an acoustic guitar in his hands, it's magic. It really is. I can't think of a bad or uninteresting thing he's done in the acoustic guitar. I really haven't. It's amazing. And there's what I love more about this song is the time changes in this song, man. There's 6/8, there's 4/4, there's 5/8, there's all different kinds of great changes. Not much as far as electric guitar, just a little bit at the end, but that's it. But it doesn't need it. The keyboards and the acoustic guitar rule this song, and it's just a classic tune, a staple in the set list. Never get tired of it. Every time I hear this song, man, I listen to it its entirety. It's one of those songs if you're driving and you pull up in your driveway and it's on the radio, it just started. You'll wait until it finishes before you get out. Still an amazing, fresh sounding song. You're absolutely right. Two for two and duh, you know, at the same time. So then we move into the first, I guess, deep track, I guess maybe, written by the rare trio of Dennis DeYoung, JY, and Tommy Shaw. You don't get to see that very much in the Styx catalog. So what do you got on this one?
Yeah, Superstars. Um, when I was a kid, when I first got this album, which I'll kind of talk about quickly, but um, I told this story before. When I was a kid, we had Pieces of Eight on cassette that we wore to dust, my dad's copy from the 70s, and the Classics Volume 15 A&M CD. And so I knew all those tracks. So I knew the title track and I knew Fooling Yourself, Come Sail Away, Miss America, all those songs. But this album, when we finally fixed up my dad's old turntable when I was about 5 or 6, this album was one that my dad had on vinyl. So I learned this album front to back, fell in love with this album. When I was a kid, Superstars was my favorite song on the album. It still is one of my favorite songs. Not my absolute favorite, but still one of my favorites. Um, and this is one that I'm extremely excited to see them play live. Haven't gotten to see them play this one live yet, but I just love the chorus. I love Tommy's vocals. I love the harmonies. It's a very rare song where Tommy and Dennis share lead vocals because Dennis comes in for the bridge section that JY does live. Um, but I think it's a really great song, great melody, um, a deep cut in quotation marks, as you say, because I mean, when you have a multi platinum album, what's a deep cut?
Right.
But yeah, this is if people only know the greatest hits, this is a song that I highly recommend. Love this song. Really cool kind of melodic pop song to break up the flow a little bit from the first two songs that were a little bit longer. And then of course the epic that comes next. But I did forget to say Fooling Yourself was the second single released from the album, went to number 29 on the Billboard charts. So top 40 single there. Superstars, not so much. Never releases a single, never played on the radio, but we love it. So that's my
Yeah.
thoughts on Superstars.
Yeah, it's a great deep cut, but the deep cuts that are coming up here in a little bit are, monster fucking deep cuts in my opinion. But Superstars is a great song. I think the writing structure for this, I think Dennis just wrote the end part where he's doing his little superstar, la 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 la, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tommy wrote the chorus. I think JY wrote most of the music, the riff, the bam, 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 whatever that, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
It's a great tune, dude. I love this song. I always have. And you mentioned it. It's like, really, what is a deep cut on this album? Um, just love this song, dude. I love the chorus. It's like a beautiful gang vocal chorus. It really is. It's just
Mm-hmm.
beautiful the way it's sung. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to add that you haven't already. It's just a fucking great song. And I was fortunate enough to see them do this song. I can't remember, was it 2006, 7? I can't remember. It was when uh, Peter Frampton and Nelson, I think. It was
Hmm.
just the Nelson twins opened for him. And they did this song. And guess where I was sitting?
Where?
In the 14th row.
There you
So
go.
I don't know if I had something to do with them playing this song that night because they don't pull that out that often. And they did that
No.
night. So yeah, that's another great fucking song. All right, then we move on to the next song, which written by Dennis, and that he wrote about, Dennis being a little frustrated with the way things are going with the last two albums. And you may have heard the song. Come Sail Away. I mean, go ahead, take it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big one. I mean, when you walk up to a random person on the street and say Styx, the answer is going to be come sail away. Um, like this is to Styx what Carry On Wayward Son is to Kansas, or Rock and Roll All Night is to Kiss. Like this is the song. That if people know one song from a band, it's this one,
Their
and
Stairway.
it's their Stairway. Yeah,
Right.
it's their big epic. Um, that when they play this song live is when even the most casual fan in the crowd goes absolutely ape shit. Like this is the song, and sometimes I get tired of bands songs like that. Like I like Carry On Wayward Son, but there's a lot of Kansas songs I like more. I like Rock and Roll All Night, but there's a lot of Kiss songs I like
Right.
more. This is a rare example of where a band has that one song, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I love this song. I completely agree. This is a completely amazing song. Top 10 hit for the band, went to number 8 on the Billboard charts. Um, this is really what broke the band. And like you said, this was written by Dennis about his frustrations that after Lady broke big, Equinox and Crystal Ball didn't do jack shit. They signed on this great big record label. All this promotion was promised to them, and they were still not doing any kind of record sales, opening for bigger bands, touring, not really having any kind of upward momentum for themselves. And it's funny that that song that he wrote would turn out to be the song that got them
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And lyrically, you really wouldn't think that that was what the song was about because it's really it goes back to what they were doing during the Wood and Nickel era, using a lot of like kind of fantastical lyrics, the ideas of sailing away, part of being on this ship, and then the angels come down, and basically, are they angels? Are they aliens? Are they demons in disguise? Who knows? Um, but it's a really, really great song. All the different changes, the kind of opening with the piano and the verses, and then the big rock section comes in, and then there's this cool synthesizer part that always gets cut out on greatest hits albums. Um, and then it goes back into just this bombastic close that whenever you go see them live now, Lawrence Gowan will always run up to the top of the stage. They have that like section with the stairs. He'll always run up to the top right above uh, Todd Zuckerman and just act his heart out up there. But
Yeah, I don't think
I
he
think
jumps off his piano anymore, does he?
no,
Yeah, yeah, I
no,
think
no,
he
no,
stopped
no.
that.
I think his doctor might have said, "Hey, watch your
Yeah.
hip there, bud." But yeah, this is always the song they play right before the encore, unless of course they're playing an entire album.
Right.
But which I think I always find it so fascinating how that kind of messes up the flow of the set a little bit when you're playing "Come Sail Away" fourth in the set list.
Right.
But I definitely can see why this is always the big kind of epic song before the encore. But
Right.
yeah, what else can you say about one of the greatest songs ever written?
Yeah, it's funny how it's a song where Dennis wrote about being frustrated, but it's such a hopeful song.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Actually, doing this album thing, listening to that song, actually, I put a post on Facebook about, I don't know, an hour ago about a health journey. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying the song actually today, every time I hear it, it gives me hope. It gives me confidence that I can do certain things. Even though the song wasn't written about that, in my opinion, the way I view it, I think it's a very hopeful song. And it's kind of like Lady on steroids, the way it's structured,
Yeah,
with the quiet piano and then the rocking ending. But man, what a tune. And I love how they do it live, especially when they come out of the do 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 when they did.
yeah, and they just hold on that for a while. Yeah,
I love that. I fucking love that
the
part.
lights are all going, and
Oh, dude, that is so cool. And it just goes, bam, it's just amazing song they do live. Oh, and by the way, I do prefer the Grand Illusion played the way Dennis when Dennis was in bands. So you were correct about that, sir. But Come Sail Away is such an epic tune, man. I mean, What else more can I say that that you haven't said or we haven't said already? Just a great freaking statement, and it's one of the highlights of the set list still today.
Mhm.
Now, I used to like diss on Lawrence, diss like a 50-40 guy using the word diss, but I always had kind of a trouble with him singing "Come Sail Away and Lady," but I've learned to like it more lately. So I apologize to Lawrence. I admit I was kind of like, you're not Dennis at first, but man, you've earned your right to be in the band, and I hope you're in the band for many, many more years.
See,
So
I was I was lucky to uh literally the year that I was born was the year that Dennis was kicked out of the band. So I was never
yeah,
brought up in a world where Dennis was still a member of Styx. So really what got me super duper into Styx beyond owning the albums was when I saw this concert on TV.
yeah,
And
that's
so I
awesome.
was used to seeing Lawrence do these songs. Of course, I didn't hear him do Lady until I saw it live myself because that wasn't on this. But I think that I'm much more forgiving for Lawrence live than a lot of older Styx fans are because I know you're not alone, Jerry. There's a lot of older Styx fans that are all, well, he's not
Yeah.
Dennis. With like literally every song, if he changes the slightest thing, well, it's not Dennis, so why is he changing the song? But I love I think Lawrence is a great fit for the band. I think that he is, I mean, probably more entertaining on stage than Dennis ever
Sure.
was.
They kind of have
Uh,
that same quirky personality a little bit on
they
stage, but
do,
Lawrence is a little bit more quirkier
yeah.
in a good
But
way,
people
though.
but people, all some older Six fans, oh, the spinning keyboard is so hokey, and he always tries to take attention off of the actual members of Sticks, and then everyone's like, dude, he's been in the band for 25 years. Give him a break.
Yeah, it's called
Like,
being a showman.
he's been in the band for almost as long as Dennis has at this point. Like, really.
Yeah, shit. 2000, 1999,
Yeah.
2000, around the time you joined the band. Absolutely, yeah. And so I apologize to Lawrence. I was one of those people. I was one of those people. Okay. But I want to say something about Dennis. You got to give Dennis a little bit of credit for a lot of credit for the band, but you got to, I mean, he at one time, and he says this in the behind the music video that he says, we are the best band in the world. He said that. That's
Hmm.
ballsy. And
Yeah.
maybe at the time, the success in this era sticks definitely up there as far
Yeah.
as, well, at least in America, is one of the best. Um, he loved the band. And yet, did he try to take total control of it? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a later episode, possibly. But one thing I always admired about Dennis, he loved this band. He never, was disinterested in the band, or he always, I don't know, gave it his 100, gave it 100%, let's just say. So, and I think it worked out good for both of them. Like JY said, we got the right to be Sticks, and Dennis got the right to be Dennis.
Hmm.
And I think, Dennis had a great solo career. I loved his show live. I mean, he was able to do whatever he wanted. And hats off to Dennis. I think he's retired now as far as solo touring, but Hall of Fame, if they make it, I think that it'll happen. It's got to happen. I think even Tommy and JY hinted that it would happen if that was the case. And it should. And I think they would. I don't think they'd be that big of dickholes about it. But yeah, that's Come Sail Away. Fucking great tune. Then we flip that bitch over, and then we start out with a JY masterpiece. And he plays this song every tour, and he says it's his favorite song, and it is a rocker. Miss America. What
Yep.
do you got on?
This is the fourth and final song on the album that is consistently played on the radio and consistently part of the set list. I pretty much guarantee you that not a single tour goes by that they play less than four songs on this album. And if it's the four that I mentioned, they sometimes play more than four songs,
They
but those
do.
are the four that you're always going to hear. There's only one time that I've seen Styx that they did not play this song, and it was because JY wasn't there.
Ah,
Um, it was right when his wife was sick in
right.
2022. He wasn't at the show, and so they did not play this song. But every other time I've seen Styx, they of course play this song. It's the one song that JY still sings live. Like you said, it's his favorite song, I think, of his time in the band, probably. Um, and even though it wasn't a hit version off this album, I believe they released the version off "Caught in the Act," the live version, as a single, and I think it got some play from that. So that's how the song kind of became a little bit more of a hit, to the point where if you look at that Classics Volume 15 CD that I had, the version of Miss America on there is the live version off Caught in the Act. But yeah, I mean, just another amazing song written about kind of the idea that we have in America of kind of putting celebrities up on a pedestal, kind of the duality of putting them up on a pedestal and
Yeah.
idolizing them, but also keeping their entire life under a microscope. Like every single thing they do, you have like this really close lens on, and it gets so kind of ripped to shreds if they do one thing wrong.
Right,
Kind of
how
this
they fall
idealization, how they
and how they
fall.
fall from that pedestal.
Yeah. Which it's funny. This song was written in 1977. This song pretty much exactly describes what would happen years later with Vanessa Williams,
Sure.
uh, with the
The
with the
penthouse thing.
the
Yep.
penthouse
That kind of,
thing.
yep.
How like literally Miss America, but
Yeah,
um, but it's kind of just a generalization of like what we in America. I mean, to this day, I mean, all these like celebrity magazines and stuff, and uh, Watch Entertainment Tonight or any of those late night gossip shows, the way we kind of idolize celebrities and then also idolize, we can't wait to watch them trip up basically,
sure. Yeah.
because it's just as entertaining watching them trip up and fall as it is idolizing them as the celebrity. And that's kind of what this song is about. Fantastic song. JY's vocals are amazing. Great heavy ripping rocker. The guitar work is great. The riff just really cool. And then of course live he always adds in the actual Miss America theme kind of song that wasn't on the album but
Yeah.
always adds it in live. Just a great, still a fun song to see live to this day.
Yeah, I agree. And you're going to see the way it's meant to be played. I think, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, I prefer when they start out with the
Do,
slow
do,
intro. But
do,
I get
do,
why he's doing
do,
just that part. He's
do.
trying to get the crowd
Yeah,
riled up. Like, are you ready? You know, all that. I get that. That's kind of cool. But man, this is a great freaking song, dude. I absolutely love this song. And what was I going to say? I can't remember now. I forgot. Damn it. I'm getting old, dude. When you get to be old as I do, you got to take like, what's that jellyfish thing they advertise on TV? It's supposed to help Prevacin or something like that. I
not
need to take.
sure.
But with that being said, it's a fucking great song. Great riff, great JY song. And oh yeah, I want to say rest in peace, Susan, JY's wife. I think they were married for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Around 50 years. And
Yeah,
that's just gotta be tough. I mean, everybody mentions Dennis and his wife, but how long they've lasted, but JY and his wife have lasted a long time. That's gotta be hard, man. So rest in peace, Susan. Gooder or Godsterd, I think her name. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's got to be a terrible loss. But yeah, we're going to the next song, which is ooh, it's a goodie. Man in the Wilderness. What do you got on this one?
my favorite song on the album. This is one that when I was a kid, it's all about side one for me as a kid. When I was a kid, I'd listen to side one over and over and over and over and over and over again. Listen to side two every now and then, but it was really side one. Now as an adult, side two is where it's at. This song especially really connects with me. I mean, another example of Tommy with an acoustic guitar in his hands
Yep.
can't do much wrong. Um, one of the few times I've ever openly shed tears in concert was last fall when I went to see them, and I was expecting them to play Sweet Madam Blue, and all of a sudden Tommy walked out on stage with an acoustic guitar, and you hear that match strike, and
Right.
the chimes go, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And they played this song, and I cried, and it was amazing, and it is just absolutely amazing song. Tommy always talks about when he joined the band and they went out on tour. I think they were opening for Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah.
Um, and he talks about kind of being in all of them live and really just being kind of, he went to sleep that night and woke up the next morning with this riff, and he wrote the riff and he wrote the song itself. He talks about how the lyrics can actually apply both to his own experience in the band and also to his brother who was drafted to go to Vietnam, um, and how their two experiences kind of paralleled.
Right.
Um, Beautiful song, beautiful lyrics, Tommy's voice, the acoustic guitar, the harmonies that come in, just amazing. And then of course the little breakdown, the da na 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 na
Ooh,
na
hell yeah.
bam
Love it.
bam da na 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 bam
Bam,
bam
bam,
bam.
bam. You get music, you get instrument karaoke on this show too, everybody. Look, we're the Beavis and Butthead of the Sticks world. So yeah, I mean, dude, man, I've seen them do this song a couple times, man. And it's just amazing tune. It's sad is, I get why people go to these shows. They want to hear "Come Sail Away" and "Lady" stuff like that. But the people getting in there, going to the bathrooms, concession stands, or whatever during this song, and I'm like, what's going on here, dude? This song fucking rules, dude.
Yep.
Um, as far as deep tracks in Styx's catalog, this is probably my favorite by Tommy. Um, Man, it's just a great song, a great sung song. That's sung blue. That's a different song. Um, his voice in this song is amazing, and you mentioned that rocket part when that comes in, woo, and that goes into that solo.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a great fucking song! And an underrated part of this song is Dennis's keyboard playing all through this
Mm-hmm.
song. Actually, it's just so beautifully entwined with Tommy's acoustic riff. It is a fucking just a well composed tune in it. Like I said before, it is my favorite deep track from Tommy. I mean, God, you know what? I'm hoping I'm seeing them in Knoxville. They're doing the Knoxville Fair, but they're doing it on their own. So I'm kind of hoping they do that same set list because I would love to see them do this album in its entirety. But if not, it'll still be a good show. I'm sure they will. That's what they've been practicing the last year, so I'm sure they probably will. But maybe they'll do some nuggets. So we'll see. But anyway, we'll move on to the not the final song, but the final. Well, it's not the final song. A Dennis classic, Castle Walls. What do you got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the biggest deep cut on the album. I would have to imagine, other than the next track, this is probably the song they've played least off this album. Because I mean, even on tours, like you said, they would. There's the four that they always play.
Yeah,
Then they play "Man in the Wilderness" quite a bit. Then they back in the 2000s they started bringing out "Superstars" a little bit
yeah.
more. This one, they really only play this one when they play the whole album, which
Right.
this is now the third tour that they've played the whole album. They did the 97 tour where they played the whole album for the 20th anniversary. They did this one where they did all of Grand Illusion and Pieces of Eight in 2010. And then, of course, now they're doing it for this year. Kind of weird they're doing it this year when not the 50th anniversary isn't for another 2 years, but
Yeah.
oh well. They'll probably do it again in 2 years, but
And
not
I
going to
will be
argue with
there.
that. And I will be
I will
there
be there.
again. I will
Yep.
not argue with them then. But I think that this is definitely the deep cut of the deep cuts on the album. And what a song. I mean, this is one of those songs where you know somebody's a Styx fan when they know Castle Walls. Like, this is just a great track, kind of dark, moody track. Dennis's keyboards is really great on it, and you have the guitars that are kind of mirroring the keyboards a little bit on the riff. Um, Dennis's vocals on the verses are cool, and then the harmony on the chorus. And then you got again 2 songs in a row. This middle section kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
The dun 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 dun
Love
dun
that.
dun 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 dun, and just
Yeah. Fucking badass.
so cool, weird, heavy, evil sounding. And this is one that I never really knew what the song was about. And if you look up the lyrics, it's kind of another one where, kind of like "Come Sail Away," they mask the meaning of the song behind
Right.
these kind of fantastical lyrics about Tiresias or whatever they're, I
Yeah, it's
don't
got
know.
a medieval feel to it. It
Yeah.
really does.
But it's about kind of again the lure of fame and fortune. You got this, you hear this voice calling you. You hear this voice kind of calling you to something beyond. Um
Yeah, getting
and
over your self limitations and stuff
yes.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a
Which I
kind
have
of
a lot of them. I need to get over a lot of them. So I understand.
yeah. So it's kind of reflective of the album's theme again, but with a more of a kind of medieval, fantastical uh, element thrown in there. But just a really, really great song that not a lot of people talk about.
Right. Oh, I love this song, dude. I love that how it starts out dun dun, that little bass or drum and that chorus. Man, far beyond these castle walls where the distant harbor meets. It's just fucking so epic, dude. This is when I think of Dennis deep tucks, deep tracks. I have to go with Queen of Spades, maybe a little better than this one, but this is definitely number two in my opinion, as far as deep
Yeah.
tracks from Dennis. This is an amazing song, and I wish it would get more recognition because it deserves it. It's an incredible tune, man. I can't really add anything more than what you put in as far as what the meaning of the song and the structure of it. But it is a great song. Then we go to the grand finale of the album, which is called the grand finale.
Yeah.
Before we go on this, I want to say one thing. I want to do a shout out to our behind the scenes guy, Chris Evio. You may have heard this song a few times on our show already. It is our intro, and he did the intro. And check out his Redbeard videos. And he's going to be doing some more for us in the future. He's going to be on the show. So we wish him all the best in what he's going through right now, which I probably should not have said that, but I said it anyway. But he's more than welcome to come on anytime, and we hope we have him on soon. But what do you got on this song?
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of a cool, like you said, it's kind of hard to decide whether this is actually a song or not because it's like a minute and a half. But it's a kind of a cool way to end the album where it brings together different themes from the songs from the album because you
Mhm.
have Come Sail Away, you have Superstars, and you have the title track coming back. The So If You Think Your Life Is Complete Confusion. Um, it's just a really cool way to end the album. Um, I think that between this album and the next album, you'll see two very different ways to end an album. And I think this one is way better than the way they end the next
Why
one.
did okay? We'll discuss it when it comes out. But I love that ending for the last
I
next album
love
coming up.
I think it's a cool little ending, but it's a the fact that that was especially when you put them back to back
Right, I
like
hear you.
this. When you
Yeah,
put them back to back like this, you got this cool epic ending where they
yeah,
bring together all the different themes of the album and the guitars are soloing together and it's so cool. These cool harmony parts on the guitar for the grand finale. And
yeah.
then the next album you just kind of have this little acoustic thing that just kind of fades out into nothingness. And like, yeah, it's cool, but
Right. Yeah, it's a cool ending to the song. Now, they try to do this three albums later on an album with a song, and it failed, in my opinion. I think you know which one I'm talking about. Take a guess.
kind
We'll
of
talk it.
uh it does it include uh, is it about a theater?
No, it's the one
No.
after that. But
Oh no, yeah, no. Now I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that.
Does it involve Tommy acting?
Oh God, yeah. You know what? I hope you guys will still love us after the review we do on a couple of these upcoming albums. Not for a while though, but it's just the truth, and we don't want to lie to you. But yeah, you mentioned it's a great way to end the album, in my opinion. You mentioned it has a little elements of all the past songs. It's cool, and I kind of like that. You know how it slows down. If you think your life is brown, I could the slowness of the how
Mm-hmm.
Dennis sings. It's cool. I mean, it's a
I
great way
actually
to
it's
end.
it's one that I like live more than the studio version. The studio
Yeah,
version's fine. It's kind of cool, but I love the way they do it live with the
yeah,
guitars just going off at the end and they're just really it's a showcase. It's kind of a big wrap up for the
right.
album live. They do it more justice live than I think it is on the studio. Um I think just kind of the way they do it live really brings it to life.
Here it is, folks. If you don't have it, you should get it. It should be in everybody's record collection, in my opinion, because it is such a classic, epic album. All right, Joseph, any final thoughts?
Yeah, buy this album.
Exactly.
If you're watching this video and you don't own this album, first of all, how are you here? Second of all, buy the album.
Right.
um, if there's one Styx album I recommend that every single person on planet Earth owns, it's this one. And I think the band feels the same way. Considering the fact that they have again three different tours played
Right.
the entire album as the theme of the tour. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's the best. It's the best Styx album. It
Yeah.
can't say much more than that.
This is the one you got to own like every form of physical media possible. I have the CD. I have the 8 track. I should have brought the 8 track out. It's somewhere in my storage unit. Yeah, see, it's one of those things you just got to own in every freaking. You got to.
DVDs of them
There
playing
you
it
go.
live.
Absolutely. Yeah.
DVDs that include CDs of them playing it live.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it is such a great album, and you know, go see them live. Still, they still put on a great show. Like I said, unfortunately they had to cancel here due to low ticket sales, which astonishes me because they always do well here in
Yeah.
Nashville.
I'm surprised. I was looking at the Ticketmaster for my show this Friday, so it's still 3 days away. There's a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm sitting here, I'm counting down the days. I'm like, oh, please don't cancel. Oh, please don't cancel. Oh,
Yeah.
please don't cancel. Because
I-
they had like a 2 week break. I think some of the shows that they canceled were supposed to be these past couple of weeks.
oh.
And so they haven't done a show in a couple of weeks. And so now I'm just like, oh, please don't cancel. Oh, please don't
Oh, that
cancel.
would suck.
And because like if you look at the map, literally the pit area in the front, they've sold like 3 tickets.
Wow.
And then they in the rest of the because it's a pavilion with a lawn. In the rest of the pavilion, there's like whole rows of tickets still available.
Dude, I hate to see
And
that.
like our tickets are towards the back, but like there's a whole bunch. I wouldn't be surprised if we get there and they say, here, move up.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm surprised how many tickets are still available. But then again, the prices aren't cheap. And it's one of those things where I can see people saying, "Oh, well, we just saw them last year or this or whatever." And especially now that it's not even REO Speedwagon anymore. It's just Kevin
Right.
Cronin of REO Speedwagon and Don Felder, both of whom are going to put on a great show.
Mhm.
But you don't have. I think it's kind of losing a little bit of its luster as a touring package, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if I start seeing Styx go out with a bigger name band to
I like to
kind of
see
try
it.
to
Maybe
up the prices a little bit.
I think it sticks in Kansas. Kill headline thing would be awesome.
I don't know if Kansas has that much drawing power though. That's the thing.
Really?
Kansas plays theaters.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Who would you put with them?
I don't even know
You
who
have to
would
think about that one.
in this day and age. I don't even know who would have the kind of name that's still out there touring that would be able to like okay, Journey maybe.
They did that
That's
before.
probably the one.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably the one
Yeah.
of like bands that would be like a band that I could definitely see Styx going out and touring with of like similar kind of musical. Like they're not going to go out and tour with like Metallica. Like it's
Right.
but I can see Journey still does stadiums. I
Yeah.
could see and usually Journey only does stadiums when they have a co-headliner, but I can see Journey and Styx together selling out arenas and
Yeah.
pavilions well, especially if they're kind of hurting this tour.
Yeah. And I think, not, you mentioned the package might be wearing it thin, but the fact, like you said, they're not, it's Kevin Cronin, it's not REO Speedwagon. That kind of, the average fan doesn't know who Kevin Cronin is, probably. They know who REO Speedwagon is. And they're like, nah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Which I guarantee
But,
you that's the only reason that he's doing all of High Infidelity because that's what's getting
right.
people there.
Yeah.
That's what's
But
getting people
go out and see him. I mean, these guys aren't getting any younger. If you haven't seen them, you're gonna regret not seeing them because I have some regrets about some people I've never seen live. And I will try to support this band until they're done. And
there. Mm-hmm.
from what I hear, they're not showing any signs of retiring. I think they're going to tour until they drop,
Yeah.
which is pretty freaking awesome. But
Yeah. For me, it's like it's a running joke at this point that I see them every year.
yeah,
Like it's kind of turned into a bit of a run. Like
yeah,
I have to keep it up. Like it's a streak I got to keep going because
yeah.
I just happen to see them back to back in the 2021, 2022, and 2023. Um, and then last minute, I got a chance to see them last year. Like it was like a month before the show, they
Right,
announced this show. Oh, cool! I get to keep my streak going. This week, I'm traveling 2.5 hours to go see them.
right.
Like I'm going out of state to go see them. I'm going to New Jersey of all places to see Styx. Like I don't go to New Jersey on a good day.
Right.
So, um, and it's not a good part of New Jersey. Like, let's be honest, folks. This is like the crime part of New Jersey. Like, this is the one where literally on the venue's website is do not leave the venue. Like, don't.
Wow, really, dude? What the
Yeah,
fuck kind of place he going to, dude? Is it really worth?
Camden, New
That's some
Camden,
dedication, man.
Camden, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I've
Not a
heard about
great
it.
place,
Yeah, but
but it's got a great view of the Philadelphia skyline, which is pretty cool. It's right. It's the pavilion sits right on the river, and so you're looking over at Philly, which is pretty cool.
so hopefully the way history is going, I think you talked about this before. Maybe they'll be playing M3 next year.
They might. They
So
might.
I'm gonna
I
try to
wouldn't
make
be.
it there next year
I
if they
wouldn't be surprised if they bring, because otherwise I cannot see who they're going to bring for M3 next year. Like they're running out of
are
headliners,
they?
man.
All right,
I mean,
okay,
they're running out of headliners. I mean, I'm trying to think like bands that have played at M3 before. A lot of them do not exist anymore.
oh
Like
shit,
Twisted Sisters headlined M3 before. Rat. I mean, this year Stephen Piercy, Warren D.
right?
Martini headline, but Rat doesn't exist anymore. Um, I mean,
David Lee
you're
Roth,
David Lee Roth. You're running low on bands that either people haven't like seen 50 million times or actually still go out and play. So
right?
there's only so many times that people can actually buy Tesla as a headliner.
True. Even though I probably could, I love
Oh,
Tesla.
I could because like
Tesla Night
I,
Ranger, I'd be happy
I
with.
will always buy Night Ranger as a headliner.
Yeah.
They pull Queensryche out every few years, which yeah, I get that. Tom Kiefer is one that they'll usually pull out. So I wouldn't be surprised. My early predictions next year, if they go back to 2 days, which this year it was 2 days plus Sebastian Bach playing by himself on Friday night, which was amazing. If they do two big headliners, I think it's going to be Tom Kiefer and Styx. That would be my
Right.
prediction.
All right, we got a little bonus non-sticks content here. So thank you all for subscribing, liking, viewing. Do whatever you can to get it out there. Because if you love this band, you want them to grow and grow and grow. And if you love
Mm-hmm.
us, grow, grow, grow. So please do all that. We would appreciate. And thank you so much, Joseph. Anything else?
Yeah, leave some comments. We really want to hear what you guys think. We've
Yeah.
really been loving when people leave comments. We got some great stories from people of
Mhm.
their experience with Styx. And we always love to hear that. And so please, when you watch these videos, I'd love to hear what you think about the album, or if you saw them on this tour, or if you have a personal story about this album. We always love hearing that kind of stuff.
We
And we're
do.
going to start having shows where we have people on, do some panels and stuff, maybe. So if you own a computer, have a webcam and a microphone, you
Sure.
might be
Come
able to come on the
aboard.
show.
You know, anytime. All right, brother. You take care of yourself. Everybody out there, take care. We'll see you next time.
See ya.